Hello. It's been a minute. It's been 3 or 4 months actually. And in my very first video I did say keep on top of it, or say I'm going to put a YouTube video out every week, and then this is the first and only one I do kind of thing. And well, here we are. But as Tony Robbins said, listen to this. He said, you are a creator of your life, not a manager of your circumstances. So this means that you decide what you want and what you want to do, right? Your circumstances in the exterior world doesn't decide that for you. It might help shape your decision, but at the end of the day, you're the one who has to decide. It's your life. Now, why does that matter? Well, because at any point, whether things are going well or whether things aren't going well, it doesn't define who you are. That doesn't define your life. Does that make sense? Here's an example. Imagine you get fired from your job, right? So you being fired from the job is the circumstance. That circumstance doesn't then say, you've got fired from this job, that means you now need to go to work at this company doing this job, earning that much. It doesn't work like that, right? You're not the manager of that and just go, oh, okay, whatever, and go along with it. No, you decide what you're going to do after that, whether you're going to work the same job in a different company, go to a completely different, career. It's all up to you at the end of the day. Like, yes, that will shape how things go, but you ultimately decide what actually happens. Now, why am I telling you this? Here's the thing. Here's the important thing. Sometimes we get caught up on the small stuff and we don't even realise it. We become managers rather than the creators. Think of it this way. You can think of it like, sometimes we end up running on autopilot. If you drive, have you ever driven home from work and when you get home you don't realise the journey you've had, you don't remember stopping at the red lights, you don't remember taking certain turns. You don't really remember the journey itself, you just kind of you were on autopilot and went from A to B. And sometimes we can live our life like that as well, right? Sometimes we don't really think about what we're doing, we just sort of go and follow the flow, basically. We're on autopilot, we're on autopilot. Well, sometimes that can be okay, right? But there can sometimes be problems with that. Sometimes you have to pay attention. Sometimes an obstacle comes up that makes us have to detour. So for example, engine light comes on. Okay, or something simpler, you just need some more fuel, so you have to detour to get, detour to go get some more fuel, or the road that you usually used is closed, right? Those different things can be same things with life, right? Sometimes there's a little thing that we need to go and sort out, we need to detour from the main things we're doing and sort this out. Sometimes it's a big thing, right? Sometimes we hit something, we get a big puncture, and you have to respond to those things consciously. You can't be on autopilot doing those things, right? So usually as well, when we go on autopilot, when we're driving, we're usually going to a place that's familiar. We're usually either going, say, work, home, or to the shops or whatever, right? But it's somewhere that we're familiar, so we can just do it automatically without having to think and pay attention to where we're actually going. So that's as well sort of how I've been finding things recently. But when I first started doing these videos, I only had Forex on the main cards and work, and I was sort of figuring out what I was doing with work at the time. But since then, I've got a lot more on my plate and a lot more to do, and I'm learning a lot about how to be effective with my time and how to manage my time overall. And it's a lot of these new learning things. I'm learning to drive to new places at the moment. I've got destinations, and the pit stops that I'm making each way is like how I do the next step, how I improve, get some more fuel, make sure my engine's okay, and just keep doing those steps to make sure that the journey's going as well as it can do, because that's what you do, especially if you're going on a long journey. You plan to make sure you've got everything you need. You keep checking to make sure the car's in perfect condition, or at least really good condition. Make sure the fuel's good, know where you're going. You have a map or have the sat-nav to tell you where you're going. You have to keep doing these checks to make sure that you're okay, right? You have to make sure that you're taking rest when you need it. Okay, that's important. The hustle culture can be really toxic, and think that you've got to work and grind all the time. That can be an option, right? One journey could be that you're going to drive to your destination and you're going to take as minimal stops as possible, and it's going to absolutely kill you. Plan a journey that you like that isn't going to take you through absolute hell. Like, it's your journey to plan. It's your journey to sort of decide what you want to do. But that's sort of like what I'm realising, I think, at the moment. sometimes things happen that we don't expect, or we weren't sure we don't really have to consider before. Think of it like this. You know when you see diagrams of how to get to success, and it's either the bumpy bits like that, or you've got the steps leading up. Each step in itself is a challenge, right? If you're going to climb a mountain, you know, you've got the start and the top. It's not just you're looking straight up and you're marching and yeah, okay, your legs might hurt a bit and that's the hardest bit. You've just got to get to the top and it's a straight road, right? No, you've got to look at every single point you're putting your feet, especially if it's rough terrain. You've got to make sure that you're putting your feet in the right position so you don't slip, so it's the safest and almost the easiest way as well, right? You're not going to go straight up a really steep part, you'll have to zigzag a bit, and it's the same thing, right? You've got to look at every step, and each step is a step closer to success, no matter how small or how big. Like, I mean, that's I know that's basically a diagram just explained, but I don't think people really talk about. Here's the thing, there's a lot of things that you don't really hear about or see or notice or really think about until you come across it yourself. I mean, that's just life experience. But I was thinking yesterday how, again, going back to the diagrams of success, how you get ups and downs. And we know what up feels like, right? Up, you're happy, things are going well, things are working out, hooray. But the downs, we can only sort of think about it as, oh, we're feeling sad or something's happened or whatever, or things aren't going so well. But it's not always like that. The downs can be anything, you know, and it's when you actually experience the path yourself. I mean, yeah, the diagrams are true, but you don't really think about it. It's kind of really weird to, I don't know, actually experience as you're doing it and think about what those troughs actually mean and how they feel like and how to overcome them as well. Because it's a lot of just figuring it out yourself, I feel, because nobody sort of tells you what these parts are going to feel like. So, and of course everyone's journey is different, so it's yeah, not as straightforward as that. I think this channel is going to be used more as a blog, so it's not just going to be Forex stuff, it's going to be a journal or a record. Learn how to write and how to talk, how to think. So, you know, how not to ramble and waffle on a lot. I did that a lot. Some parts I had to stop and cut out. I'm rambling now, for example, so it's I want to be able to achieve 3 things with the channel as well. I want to organise my thoughts in an articulated way so I can actually convey them and get them out. I want to clearly document things, so not thoughts and feelings as such, just more what I'm experiencing in the moment, how I'm thinking about things, or just how things are going, or what I'm doing, or yeah, it will be still some Forex stuff, so stuff like that, or like I'm making a Christmas cake at the moment. I've started filming a bit like that, and I also want to be able to provide value to you guys as well. That's going to be interesting. I'm getting quite excited about it now. I think I never really knew what I wanted to do or how I wanted to take it. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for watching. If you like the video, please hit that like button. If you have any feedback, please, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to see either improvements or what you want to see or what you want to hear about. Maybe it's a bit early for that, but anything at all, man. Or like, stop rambling on so much. So, okay, yeah. Right, yeah. Thank you very much. Like, subscribe, and I shall see you all in the next video. Goodbye.